Hello there, friends and RC family. My name's Alec from High Noon Hobbies, and if you're new to this channel, I very much appreciate you checking it out. Hope that you'll stick around, watch this video, see if it's content that you think is worth your while, and maybe join me back here again so that I can say to you, if you aren't new to this channel, I very much appreciate you coming on back, joining us for yet another Sunday upload. If you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, I would very much appreciate if you do so. We have new videos coming out every Friday and Sunday, new uploads, which is super fun. We do kind of a variety of different things. I say we, it's just me, but there's a lot of different people in my brain, so you know, it's we. But I do have a lot of help. I always try to shout out all the different people that have helped out with these videos, but there are oftentimes too many to name. But I do want to kind of just throw a very general shout out to all of you who have helped out with these videos. So I really do appreciate it. And your subscription also does help substantially with the growth of this channel. This has been growing faster than I could have ever imagined, and I really do appreciate it. But I thought we were going to be finishing off the White Rocks Trail today. I'm not giving us a face cam intro because I'm both feeling too lazy and because it saves us about like a minute and a half on these videos, and we're starting to get to the point where this is a ridiculous number of videos coming from this White Rock experience. But we are back on the south side of Dugway, Utah, the Dugway kind of testing grounds area, I guess north of Dugway, Utah, the actual town. But this is White Rocks. If you haven't checked out the other videos, I would highly suggest doing so. I've made some other fun ones of this area, of this 801 RCC event out here. But this will be the second to last video of this run that we did. And if this section looks familiar, it's because it should. This is starting to... I think this is where we actually may have started the last video, but this is where I started picking up, or where I picked up recording for the run that I did with the Marlin. I think we started just a little bit before this, but I wanted to start recording at this point because I thought this is where the trail really started getting pretty cool. So we're seeing a few new rigs coming through here from the previous run. We've got Ron with the 14-inch wheelbase just absolutely destroying this crack. No problem whatsoever. I guess he's not in the crack, but you know, Ron just, oh, well, there he is. He always finds his way into the crack. Got the trail runner, non-licensed 4Runner body with Taylor at the wheel, and he can typically do some pretty good work. All these rigs, well, okay, I was about to say all these rigs making this climb look easy, but Hobie in the Hoonigan VS410 Ultra, I believe. Ooh. And he really just rallies that truck. And here we are. We decided that because Hobie couldn't make it up on his own, he needed some help here. Unfortunately, that also did not work. But, you know, everyone landed on their wheels, so no harm, no foul. Unfortunately, I don't think I got the Marlin going through that gnarly little turn section, but here we are below it on the descent portion of the trail. It's actually maybe quite a bit below it, but still on the descent. It takes quite a while to get that last clip that we were watching of everyone go up. That was almost to the peak of the trail, and now you can see we're really close to the rocks themselves. So I do apologize. We've skipped a few cones, or we've at least skipped around. This is cone 130. And I know that I covered up into the hundreds with the VS410 Phoenix in the previous video, and then we kind of went back to, I think that was in the 80s or 73 or so, for that kind of fun little vertical ascent with the turn. But now we are back basically to where we left off with the Phoenix, which was in the higher, or I guess mid hundreds. So this section of the trail through here I actually thought was pretty cool. I wish that there would have been more lines over here. just because the rock was really interesting, and we, as you can see, are next to this really cool little pond area. I just thought it was pretty, and you know, they kind of just used this face as a quick up and down, but there were a lot of cracks like this on the face, which I thought needed to be explored. So here we are watching T in his COVID-19 rig. That's the absurdly heavy TRX4 on tiny tires, with the hard body, of course, T style. And this was a cool little line. You probably could have cut it up a little bit sooner if you had, well, not a tiny tire rig, but because this was our tiny tire run, we didn't want to make that sharp turn on the side hill. I don't think any of the rigs would have liked that. So all of us opted to head down to the base of the rock formation, make a little turnaround, and then head back up for this tighter line. And this is one of those that really does it looks deceivingly difficult when it really is not too hard. As long as you square up to this little wedge, it's really not too bad at all. And we can see Jace in the Pizza Planet rig here. Got to deliver those pizzas, no matter where the trails take us. We're keeping those pizzas hot, and we're delivering them in 30 minutes or less. Don't you worry. And like I mentioned, you do really have to square up to this just right. But if you do, the truck really does just want to pull itself up. There's a nice ledge, and it's just the right height for our little tiny tire trucks to get those front tires super wedged in and tons of traction on them. Even though you're at a nasty angle that, generally speaking, you wouldn't have too much traction at all. And now I'm going to start my descent into this crack. I've decided to kind of skip the video back a little bit to the top of the crack. I wanted to watch everyone else go through, but then I did want to also run the whole thing. The entry to the crack itself is actually one of the more difficult moves you have to make. You can see that ledge that is just catching me up a little bit, and the steering on my Marlin has never been great. That's all the stock components, and I know I've gotten lots of comments about what I need to put in this thing, but this series has actually been about a month and a half since I've filmed anything with the Marlin, and I've been working on a whole bunch of other projects. So we will come back around to this little guy, but he always outperforms my expectations on just the stock components. So I have no quarrels. I always get out and just have a smile on my face with this truck, and then I forget about all the upgrades that I should be doing. But pretty uneventful, more or less, crack once you get past that little entry point. There are a few spots where it widens out and then gets a little thinner. As you can see, I had to kind of maneuver my way around them. And then here we start kind of the more serious descent, but the crack does also widen out a little bit more, which it caused me to slip down into the center of the crack, but that actually wasn't too big of a deal. I end up just kind of riding down in the lower section of the crack for the next little portion of this crack here. But we're going to make our way down. This is a really long stretch of crack, and I mean, realistically, with the way the cones are placed, you could kind of sneak your way in and out of the cones, probably on what you're seeing as the right-hand side right now, the driver's side of the crack. But as you can see here, this is where I started having troubles. Like I was saying, I just kind of wrote it on the door, but it was wide enough at that point that it wasn't too big of a deal. I managed to get squared back up to it, and the big drop, as we saw T and Jace do. One thing I've noticed with the TF2 is there are points where the body weight, as you can tell, is just forcing your momentum into a flip, but you can very easily counteract the flip with just a tiny bit more momentum, just a tiny bit more wheel speed. So I do enjoy having this brushless. This is the Holmes Hobbies. If you can't hear it, you probably can, or you probably have in some of these videos. Oh, we got a little stick in there. But you probably heard this motor in some of the videos. This is a Holmes Hobbies Revolver V2 snub nose. So this is their outrunner motor Very, very small, very fast, and very loud. But pretty fun. I've seen a lot of people actually, and that was I was pretty stoked about that little ascent right there, even though I managed to basically hit both of the cones on like a 2.5 foot gate, so that's pretty impressive. But yeah, I was impressed with that little ascent that the Marlin did. Always, like I said, always impressed by this thing. Here we got just a few uneventful gates, although here we start to get into a pretty steep vertical ascent that stays for just a little while here. So here the Marlin has a pretty significant advantage in width. I think, you know, even a comp rig, yeah, it looks like even a comp rig on like capper axles would probably have to start dealing with this ledge in a more significant manner. But in the TF2, you don't even have to worry about it. You can just squeeze right past. So, you know, pros and cons of each rig. You got to think about all of them. Here, this is what I like to call the Marlin side hill dance. So you got to just find the right rhythm, the right cadence with dropping the rear end of the Marlin. But the Marlin will essentially side hill anything. You just have to put it in the right place. And if you make it happy, it'll dance through just about anything. I impressed myself with that gate, I won't lie. And then we're going to do this nice little pivot move here, which I also impressed myself with. And really, it's the combination of all these components on the Marlin, I feel like, that make that look so nice and smooth. But we're coming up on the end of the video here, so I want to say thank you all very much for watching. If you made it to the end of this one, I very much appreciate you. Go ahead and give this a like if you like this video. Subscribe for more content like this, and we're just about to end, so thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.